Now, hello everybody. Welcome to the seventh episode. We made the seven, James, of James Squared. I'm James Gonzalez, of course, and beside me, not beside me, but on the laptop here, is James Milu. And James,
What's
can
up?
you tell me if it's going to rain tomorrow in Baltimore, or if it's raining
Well,
already?
yeah, it's been raining all day actually. Uh and yeah, it's supposed to rain until at least 3 or 4 their time, Eastern Standard Time over there in Baltimore. 12 o'clock here when the game starts. So 12:05. So we're hoping that the rain can hold off so we can see some Angels baseball officially tomorrow. So that's what I'm hoping for. But yeah, it is supposed to rain. So I don't know what they're going to do with that. A
And
couple
as you
games on the East
mentioned,
Coast were all
yeah,
already postponed. Yeah.
yeah, the
So
Phillies, Braves in Philadelphia, and there's probably Yankees or Red Sox, I'm guessing, or
yeah.
Washington. No, Washington's in Cincinnati. My fault. Um, I haven't even looked at the schedule for some games, but all I know is we're focused on the Angels season coming up and the players that will be on the 26-man roster, and we'll go through an overview of it uh, pretty soon. But a reminder, please go to Noble Ale Works. That's on 1621 Sinclair Street B in Anaheim. Just a good little walk away from the stadium and the Honda Center. A good place to go. There's always specials. There's food trucks just outside of the front door there. All sorts of local restaurants. So if you want to support a local catering truck, food truck, that's a place to do it. Also, if you need tickets and a good deal, please go to 714 Tickets
714 tickets. 714 tickets.
for all of your ticket needs. I mean, not only here and not only for Angels baseball, for the Ducks across the street, and then for the Lakers, Clippers, when NFL comes back, when USC football comes back. I wouldn't be shocked if they had some, and even the Dodgers and the Padres and all of MLB, but maybe even some college baseball. I wouldn't mind going to see, USC, UCLA, Fullerton, Long Beach State. I think I got to do that one of these days. Go back to Blair Field or Fullerton. I got to try that. So you can definitely believe if you're going to opening day on April 5th, you better go with 714 tickets. And be sure to put in that code HITI, HITI, for that special 10% off. Uh,
That's right.
make sure you take care of that. I forgotten all about that until now to say that. I'm definitely going to put that into the ticker later on tonight. All right, so let's get to the Angels, the 26-man roster, the overview. Well, the rotation, let's just say they underperformed last year greatly. This year, you're kind of expecting the same. Tyler Anderson, the oldest of the group, will be there, but Patrick Sandoval, of course, will get the nod tomorrow in Baltimore for opening day. Supposedly, Ron Washington said, hey, he looked the best out of the spring guys, and he deserved it because of that. He has a heart and injury. Hopefully, that will come into there. We'll see.
Let's be
Uh,
real here, James. Let's be real here. I think Wash just threw some spaghetti on the wall and said, "Hey, it stuck." And he said, "Hey,
yeah.
Sandoval's pitching," because let me tell you, there's no surprises this year in this rotation. It's pretty much what you see is what you get. That's pretty much the same rotation as last year.
I know Tyler Anderson's there, Patrick Sandoval, Reed Detmers. Those are
Yeah,
all the lefties, of course. Griffin Canning there, and Chase Silseth, who I believe, just like we talked about on the round table, Chase Silseth will be the best starter out of all of them, I believe. They're trying Jose Soriano as maybe that spot starter, long reliever. I don't know if that'll work, but Andrew wants, he'll be in the minors. He's going to work on some things to maybe get him to be a starter just in case there's some injuries. How do you see this rotation going, and are any of them any valuable to you?
Well, we're going back to a traditional 5-man
Thank
rotation,
God.
which is really going to help this team, I think, because I think when Shohei was here and you had that 6-man rotation, it just threw everything out of whack, you know. Then you had to scramble for that 6-man. But anyway, yeah, Sandoval, no surprises, like I said, Sandoval, Canning, Silseth, Anderson, and Detmers. Um, Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. This is a very young rotation. I don't know. Last year, the year before last, they were good. I believe we were top 10 in pitching. I think back in 2022
21.
or
Yeah.
2021. Yes, and then here in 2023 last year, they were just straight terrible. But we had a lot of injuries too, and then of course the 6-man rotation didn't help. But I think this rotation has the potential on paper to be uh, pretty good if everybody's healthy and they pitch to their potential. But you know what potential means? It's just another word for, you know, who knows what's
Hope.
going to happen.
Hope. All right. So let's get to the bullpen now. Obviously, the Angels, they didn't make some splashes this year, but their highest spending splash was Robert Stevenson, the former Ray, comes to Angels on a 3-year deal. He is currently banged up. I don't. He's not injury in injury list right now, but we'll see if he takes the mound tomorrow at all. But it starts with Carlos Estevez. Obviously, had a first half to remember, but a second half to forget. He was the All Star last year with Shohei, but that is not going to be the case this year, at least with Shohei, of course. With the Angels, you got Matt Moore coming back, even though he was traded away
Yes.
to Cleveland. He's back, and he's one of those reliable guys. Adam Simber, you saw him yesterday against the Dodgers at the Big A. He gave up a home run in that exhibition, just a meatball frisbee pitch up there. I'm kind of worried about his submarine delivery to lefties. I think that's going to be a
Yeah,
problem unless he puts some movement on that
absolutely.
ball. It's going to be an issue. Robert Stevenson, I don't know what to expect. I just hope he fits in very well. For me, Ben Joyce going down. He needs some work at Double A. Jose Siniero, I think maybe he'll be one of those young unsung pitchers there, as well as Guillermo Zanija. Gotta be careful how you say that last name.
It looks like Zuniga, but Zanija, I think. Yeah.
I wish I could say the way you say it.
Yeah.
But man, he looked lively in spring training. I really liked his fastball 98 plus. Luis Garcia is someone you really can't trust after a while. And then Jose Suarez, I don't know if he's going to even last with the team. He has no more
Yeah.
options. And like we were talking on the roundtable, guys brought up some great points about Suarez and how you could use him and where you would use him. It's just very tough right now. I don't know if you use him if a starter gets hurt during the start early, you just throw him in there. But he's coming off an injury as well. So he's probably one of those guys you would put in to get one out to get of an inning and then start the next inning. That's all I could think of. And then, God, the other guys, they're just going to have their innings. But hopefully, we have a set 7, 8, 9. I want that to be a thing. So, how do you think this bullpen will shape out?
We're going to have a very underrated bullpen. I think it's going to be a strength this year, believe it or not. And there's so many guys that throw, 95 plus, guys getting up there 98, throwing 100 plus even. It's going to be one of our strengths. And I think we have so many arms. We had some go down to AAA, like Joyce. Joyce needed some time. It's better than having him come up here trial by fire and do really badly and wreck his confidence. So he's going to start out. I think he went back to Rocket City, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And he's going to probably be up at AAA. Then we'll see him sometime during the season. But we have a lot of plus arms in there. Stevenson, another one. We haven't seen too much of him. Actually, we haven't seen him at all because he didn't play at all this spring because of his I believe, the shoulder injury. But who knows when he's going to be ready? It's another mystery injury for the Angels, pretty much. We don't know when he's going to come back. So we haven't heard much on that front, just that he's been injured. But you take him out of the equation, you still have a pretty good bullpen. They're trying to stretch out Jose Soriano. I don't know why you would want him to be a starter, but he's going to be a long reliever. And I think he's just going to be another six man if they need somebody to plug into that rotation because of injuries. I liked the addition of Luis Garcia. He was with us back in 2019, and he didn't fare so well. But with the Padres, he was decent. Estevez, I don't know, he's Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, of course. We need a real closer.
Yeah.
That's something we haven't had for a long time. Well, we had, the other guy. Why do I forget? He's on the Braves now. Who is it?
Oh, Rafael Soriano. Oh, not Rafael. I'm sorry. Rafael Iglesias.
Thank you, Iglesias. Yeah. Rafael Iglesias. That's right. Wow.
Rafael, yeah, I forgot.
We're both really tired. But anyway, yeah. Rafael, yeah. Or Ricel Iglesias.
Can you believe I brought up Rafael Soriano? He hasn't pitched in like
Soriano,
7-8 years.
Yeah.
He hasn't pitched so long, and when we said Braves, I automatically thought of an R.
Yeah.
Rafael Soriano.
It's Ricel Iglesias. Yeah, that's who it was.
Rafael Iglesias.
Anyway, Estevez, Moore, he's kind of had a quiet spring, but has been getting it done. So I'm hoping, he's nothing to worry about. He's pretty consistent, But I mean, we have some young arms, some older arms, some veteran arms. It's going to be interesting to see how it really shakes out. And for this season.
You mentioned Iglesias. I'm sorry. Oh my God. Estevez. Okay. I think he only had one save, and it was on Monday against the Dodgers the whole spring.
He had a save. He had a save when I was in Tempe, I believe. Yeah, he did.
Oh, that's weird.
Against the Padres.
Network had one, or maybe it was a win. I think it was a win. But I thought he would have had a little more in the spring. I thought that would have been something. So let's get to this infield. Now, for once, catcher is not a problem. You have Logan O'Hoppe. You have Matt Thaiss. O'Hoppe, of course, one of my breakout players, I think. If you heard the roundtable. And then Matt Thaiss, he's a great, solid backup. He's going to have clutch hits, and he's going to be a great fielder, I think.
Yeah.
At first base, Nolan Shanuel, he's just going to take that position and run with it. He's already built up a lot of muscle this spring, and also in the offseason. And then spring, he's been hitting very, very well. Second base will probably be Brandon Drury if he's not the DH. He's a reliable veteran. He does strike out a little more than what we want, but he puts up the numbers for sure. Third base, Anthony Rendon, when he's healthy, he's very key to this Angel lineup. Now, they've been Ron Washington is putting him, leading off in the last spring, couple of weeks, and it's just been interesting to see, or last 2 weeks, I should say. That's been kind of odd. But he needs to be in the lineup. He needs to be on the field or a DH. He's got to be on the damn field. Zach Neto, the shortstop. What can you say? He's already a born leader like O'Hoppe is. And I said this on the roundtable. I mentioned, isn't it sad that the Angels, the two leaders that you can think of, are the captains on the club, in the clubhouse and on the field, are young men. Basically rookies. That's kind of sad. Rendon and Trout aren't. Estevez isn't.
Yeah.
That's just very awkward to me. And then Luis Rengifo will back up.
Yeah.
Even play some outfield. Third base, short, second. How do you see this infield doing? Do you like that it's kind of set right there?
I do like it. I mean, I love Neto at short. And like you say, he's going to be a captain one day. he and Ohapi are both just great young players, and you see them, budding before our eyes. And it's going to be a fun season to watch them. Um, I like Jewelry, of course. He's solid. Sean Well at first, and you also have Renhefo backing up the infield when he's not injured with that. He seems like he's been getting injured off more often than not lately with hamstring issues. Then Rendon's the real wild card because we don't know what's going to happen with him. Is he going to play a full season this year? And Miguel Sano is his backup, so it's going to be. It's a very good. This infield has the potential to be a very good infield as well because you have young and old, a lot of crafty veterans, and you have a lot of great young stars in Ohapi and Neto and Sean Well. It's going to be very interesting to see Wash work his magic with these guys since he's the infield guru, as you say, so to speak. So he's been working his magic all spring, and I think this infield's going to surprise us with some things. So I'm hoping, and I like to see Rendon get the let out and actually make some plays this year, other than just side arming it to first all the time. That's his style, but lackadaisically, hopefully he's motivated. So we need motivated guys. And I don't know if you've seen the hype video. We'll probably mention that later on, but the Angels released a hype video tonight, and it is very, very inspirational. I'm ready to run through a wall for these guys.
I also forgot about Michael Stefanik, but he's rarely on the field. He's always injured. He is on the list, but they don't mention Sano. Like somebody didn't do their homework here on MLB.com. Yeah, Rendon, we mentioned last year he had so many errors on so many just lazy throws. Like he wasn't getting his feet set, his body set, twisting. It was so bad. I don't know if you were at that. Yeah. I don't know if you were at that July 1st game. That was the Ohtani Trout combo bobblehead game.
Yes, I was there. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Duh, you were there. He made a play. It was 2 outs in 1 inning, and he made a play at third. And instead of just throwing to first, he hesitated and tried to throw the short way to second and threw it into right field.
I remember that. Yeah.
And that just opened the door for Arizona, who of course went on to win the NL champs, of course. But they went on to run that game. The fireworks were off, but I was already gone. All right, so the outfield, for once, it's very, very crowded, but there's a lot of promise, and then there's a lot of hope. A lot of hopefuls, and then what a lot of people could go wrong here, though. You have Taylor Ward in left, Trout in center, and then right field, there's a mix of Moniak, Aaron Hicks, and Joe Odell, probably more in left field. I'll tell you what, and then also you could throw in Renhefo when needed, and you could throw in Moniak again in right. I do like I do like that there's a lot of competition in the outfield, but there's a lot of guys that are really unproven, that are never healthy. They have Taylor Ward. When you think about his first months in 2022, he was going to be an all-star, and then he got hurt, and then last year he gets hurt in the oddest ways. I'm really hoping a lot for him, and Moniak could break out. Joe Odell, again, he's one of those option players that, look, I don't know if he'll continue on with the team after a couple of months. They may have to say, hey, we don't have any playing time for you. We failed you. Go somewhere like the Rays and the Reds, and, they'll have you play forever, or Pittsburgh or Colorado. Like I mentioned on the roundtable, he'll go to Colorado and hit bombs, and he could just be their, DH or left fielder there. But Mike Trout, going into another season, we're just hoping he plays a whole season. If he has to DH, which I hope he takes advantage of, I hope he does that. because he's getting older, he needs to rest those legs. I think that'd be awesome. So how do you see this outfit? I did mention Aaron Hicks, but he's going to platoon, I think, with Moniak and Ward. It's just all interchangeable, other from Chad, I think.
Yeah, you're going to see this outfield. There's going to be a lot of moving parts, so to speak, in this outfield. You're going to see a platoon with Moniak and Hicks and Wright. Trout's, solidified center. Of course, maybe Ward and Adele left. And all of a sudden, we have a very crowded outfield, as we didn't have a very crowded outfield last year. And one name to watch that's probably not going to be on the major league roster is Jake Marisnick.
Mm-hmm.
And he chose to stay instead of being released, and he'll start the season in AAA most likely. But that's another guy, so that's like the sixth outfielder, pretty much. But he'll start in AAA. But this is the last chance for Adele, like you said, and he could get exposed to waivers early on if there's not enough room for him. My take is, I think he does need to go to another team so he gets the chance to play every day, because that's not going to happen with the Angels, because they're going to be platooning everybody pretty much but Trout. And then you'll probably have Moniak fill in center, or even Adele in center when Trout takes a DH day. So who knows what's really going to happen with Adele? I mean, we'll see throughout the season, but he's out of options, so he can't be sent down. So he's got to perform. This is his very last chance.
Mm-hmm.
But we could get a couple players for him still. He's still one of our top prospects. He's not the premier prospect like he once was, but he still has 5 tools. So we'll see. Not really good on defense, but
No,
he has everything else. He was hitting a ton in spring. He has a lot of power, but he's got to get his average up. His power is there. He's just got his fielding and his average. And that's going to be the key to the outfield right there, too. I mean, you got to perform to, receive playing time, but he's out of options. So I don't know. It's going to be a bunch of moving parts in that outfield, but it's a good problem to have. One of those guys, I have a feeling, is going to be the odd man out eventually, But yeah, the outfield's looking good, and it has the potential to be one of the better outfields in Major League Baseball too, because you have Ward bouncing back, All-Star and Trout. Even though he's an old man now, he can still field like the best of them, And then you have Hicks has a cannon for an arm. He's okay on defense. And then Moniak, he can play all over the field. So we'll see,
All right. Let's get to the schedule. Let's preview the schedule here.
Yeah.
So, the Angels will start off in Baltimore tomorrow, of course, and then today, if you're watching tomorrow, of course. The 28th at noon, they'll have Good Friday off, which I just don't get why.
That's right.
Play one day, and then they take Friday. They take one day off. I don't know why the hell they do this, but then they end up 2 games in Baltimore, and then 3 in Miami before having April 4th off, and then the home opener with Boston, April 5th, 6th, and 7th in Tampa Bay comes in, and then guess what? we play Baltimore and Tampa Bay where they are, and then look at the rest of the month. I mean, April you have Cincinnati, Baltimore, Minnesota, and then Philadelphia. I mean, that's a tough stretch.
That's a tough stretch.
The schedule just looks like it's going to be tough in April. May, you take a look at that. Kansas City, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, St. Louis. Yeah, you can win. Those are winnable right there. Remember what the Angels did in St. Louis last year. But At the end of the schedule, you get in Houston, in Texas. You host Cleveland and the Yankees. Now that's going to be very difficult. In June, you have in Seattle, and then you host the Padres and the Astros. That'll be tough. Go on the road. You go to Arizona. You go to San Francisco, and then you go to LA to play the Dodgers. That's going to be great. There should be some wins in there, though, in June. You face Oakland and Detroit at home. And then July comes, you're in Oakland, you're in Chicago with the Cubs. And then, you host Texas, you host Seattle. All-Star weekend will come, and then you're back on the road again in Oakland again, Seattle, and then you host Oakland, host Colorado, the Mets, and then back on the road to face the Yankees in New York and Washington. 3 versus Toronto at home. Then the Braves come here in August, so keep note of that. I'll probably go to some of those games. Host or go to Kansas City, go to Toronto, and go to Detroit. We'll see if the team is relevant then, or if they'll have a bunch of injuries. Going in September, and this is weird, James. I saw the Dodgers are coming in the September 3rd and September 4th. It's just odd to see the Dodgers coming that late into the season. I don't like that. Then they go to Texas and Minnesota. They host Houston, so that's a very, very, very tough stretch there. And then to end the month, you have hosting the White Sox, going to Houston, going to the White Sox, and then hosting Texas to finish out 2024. And of course, that Texas series will have fan appreciation. And that Sunday, the last game of the season, every game will start at noon, just in case there's some wild cards or divisions to be won. It'll be a frenzy, hopefully, this time around. Because it seems like all the years that's been, there hasn't been anyone getting, eliminated. It's always been like the day before on that Saturday that has determined, a division or wild card. Last year was just basically, everybody was in, but the seeding was a little different. I think that was going on for, I want to say, Arizona last year, and they ended up, I think, in the second wild card, I want to say. So any months, stand out to you, which will be tough, which will be, fairly easy for this team to go on a good winning streak?
Well, take a look at, I believe it's June. We don't play an AL West opponent until June, I believe.
Yeah.
May or June for the first time. And that's going to be interesting because historically the Angels don't play well in the AL West within the last 10 years. So that's going to be huge because if you want to win the division or if you want to just make playoffs, you got to do well in your division. You got to beat those opponents in your division. So that's going to be an important month. I think getting off to a good start as always. It's going to be a tough month of April, I think. So. We also have Boston to open up our home series. So, I mean, they haven't done much, but they always seem to beat us. And then September, with the Dodgers coming in, that's kind of weird, like you said. That's going to be a challenge because hopefully we're still in it and we're fighting, we're scratching and clawing. I pray to the baseball gods today, scratching and clawing our way to hopefully a second wild card spot or a wild card spot. And the Dodgers are going to be right there, and they're a well-oiled machine that time of year. So we'll see what happens. I love that we play everybody now. Yeah,
August looks like a winnable month, though.
Yeah,
when you really look at that August, other from Atlanta and maybe the Yankees, it all seems winnable depending on what team the Jays bring out. It's just difficult to read right now. But you go to Kansas City, you go to Detroit, you host the Mets. I'm just hoping that's a winnable month. Like you're maybe 8 or 6 games above that 500 mark for the month of August. I know every other month though.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, I think no, you didn't mention July, but that whole month, other from 5 games, are all um, AL West matchups, and then of course you have the All Star break. So that's a very very interesting month. They don't play Houston or Texas, or they play Houston 3 times, but they don't play Houston. That's for early and late, or in May and later on. But um, man, it's going to be a gauntlet for sure. It's just don't know how the team's going to do and the pitching will hold up. I don't see it. So that leads to our record predictions. For me, I mentioned on the roundtable, the Angels bar will be lowered even more. They didn't do anything to really make me want to predict them to be any better without Otani. There's no way. So James, I went 69 and 93. I just don't see a winner. They'll maybe have some strides, but I could see long losing streaks again. 5, 6, 7 games worth. I'm on the road and home too. Same thing. Just the pitching doesn't do it for me. Maybe they get better fundamentally. We know some people will, some people won't. Some people care, some people don't. Um, but hopefully Washington has them playing just solid ball and staying in games. That's all you want to see. You don't want to lose by 10 anymore or 9.
Right.
And having your position player pitch in the top of the ninth at home. I got to see that, I think, 2 or 3 times with Escobar last year and someone else too. And I was just sick of seeing that. You stayed for the fireworks on Saturday, but guess what? I wasn't in the mood for fireworks. We
Right.
lost, 10-1 and crap like that. I just don't want to see that. But sadly, I think we will see that. I think they'll go 69 and 93. What about you?
I think I'm a little more optimistic about the record because of all the young talent, and if they stay healthy, I think this team can do something special. I'm saying 75 wins.
2 more than the last 2 years. Yeah.
Right.
But
In between, yeah.
I'm thinking though, without Shohei, you lose 4 more games.
Yeah,
He
that's.
could have won him some games with like a late inning home run. That's what I'm worried about. But you're saying 75. Well, how are they going to have 2 more wins? You think?
I think they're going to scratch and claw. I think this team's going to be different this year.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I think they're going to be fighting. So I think on paper they're a 75 win team in my opinion. 70 to 75. They could go 77 and 85, but we'll see. I don't think this team's going to win 80 games. It'll just shock me if they win at least 80 games.
Yeah.
I mean, we just don't have the pop unless somebody has an outstanding year besides Trout. We need a lot more power, but who knows? Maybe the pitching does come through. Maybe the bullpen is a real strength, and it gets us more wins, like we're counting on. Maybe Logan O'Hoppe has a career year, and maybe Zach Neto hits a few more homers, and maybe we actually hit better with guys on base. There we go. Maybe we become RBI machines. Finally, after all these years. Maybe they're indicative of the 2002 team, and they just hit teams to death. But I'm not going to hold my breath. But these are things that are possible in this lineup. But I'm sticking with 75 wins.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
I think I want to say Dominic had him at 85 wins, and I was just thinking to myself,
I did see that. Yeah, I'm like,
I don't know. I think it's too
that's
much. But everybody had more than I did.
Yeah. Roger Lodge
Can't
had him
remember.
winning what 93
91.
win, like 91.
That's crazy to me.
Trent, even Trent Rush had him winning 80, like 85 or
Mid
86 games.
80. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's just too. That's too much. I think even if he had the sliders up on MLB The Show, maybe they get to 85, but
yeah.
just they will get overpowered. So let's preview the opening series in Baltimore and then the next one in Miami. Tomorrow, of course, hopefully today, we'll see some baseball. Looks like you said, the rain will dissipate after a while. Hopefully, they have the field ready and the uh, the diamond tarped off and all that. It's been a tough week in Baltimore. I think it was a couple of days ago that bridge came down, and that's
Yeah.
been a little, I think, stressful. I would guess for the area. I want to say. I think they were supposed to have their like fan fest, but it didn't happen yesterday because of what happened
Right.
yesterday morning. So the Orioles, they traded for Corbin Burns, not for too much, like their fifth starter and one of their prospect shortstops, and then an extra pick later on in the draft for Corbin Burns, the ace of the Brewers now, the ace of the Orioles. He'll be starting for the Brewers tomorrow. And then Patrick Sandoval will be the opening day starter for the Angels. And the rest of the series, we don't have really any pitching matchups yet as we talk to you right now, as this is being recorded on the 27th here of March. And even for the Miami series, you take a look at Miami, it seems like they're always in a transition mode, and whenever players get good, they get shipped out. They did get Tim Anderson, but they have some pitchers on the shelf for not doing as well. You kind of hope for them to do a little better, but it just seems like they're not going to get there. For Baltimore, though, going back to them, it seems like they have everything in place for them to make a deep run. They lost last year in the divisional series that they hosted at Camden Yards last year, and they lost against the Rangers. I think it was a 3-game sweep, I want to say, of Texas. And, they're just looking to go a step ahead more, ultimately to be world champions. I think a lot of bettors have them, if it's not the Astros, if it's not the Rangers, it's going to be the Orioles. They feel like this year in the AL for the World Series. So, what do you see from these two teams with the Orioles and the Marlins this year, the first two Angel opponents?
Well, the Angels are going to get tested early. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore has one of the best farm systems in all of baseball, and they have one of the best pitchers. Actually, he's chosen to win the Cy Young award this year. Off of predictions from MLB and Corbin Burns. It's going to be interesting to see how the Angels do in Baltimore because they didn't do so well last year, from what I remember. Baltimore is a good young team. From top to bottom, they're solid pitching. They can beat you in so many ways, especially the pitching. So the Angels need to get after it early, and hopefully they score a lot of runs against it. It's good, runs are going to be hard to come by with this pitching staff, especially when it's Corbin Burns. I think there was a stat out that out of most of the Angels hitters on this current team, there was only 3 that did okay against Corbin Burns in the past. So they have their work cut out for them. And the next 2 games, we don't know who's going to pitch. So they just need to beat up on Baltimore somehow. Find a way to score runs early. That's going to be the key. We've been having trouble scoring runs early on. And against a team like Baltimore, you have to score early. You got to come out fighting in the first couple innings. But the Marlins, they're also an anomaly because they're a good young team. They have a good farm system. You mentioned they acquired Tim Anderson, and they just actually traded somebody today to the Yankees. Was it? I think his name's
John Burt,
Bendy.
Infielder.
Yeah, or what's his name? Bendy.
I thought it was Burt.
B-E.
It don't matter.
Birdie. Yeah. Well, anyway, it starts with a B. He was traded to the Yankees today, but they have they also have good young pitching, and they have Alcantara. Is that his name? I think he might be.
Sandy Alcantara. He's always a trade rumored, bound to be traded. You never know, but he's their ace for sure.
He's their ace, and he always pitches when he pitches against the Angels. It's always tough, or anybody for that matter. He's a tough pitcher. So they're going to have their work cut out for him with those pitchers as well. But I think that series is more winnable than this one against Baltimore. The key again is to score runs early. You gotta get on them early, and that's how you win the game. You got to be able to hold down the game with the pitching. So, yeah, these two series, they're gonna be tests before they come back home. We'll see how well they do. Hopefully, next week when we talk, we're gonna be talking about a few wins here, and not a sweep or a few sweeps.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah,
that would be wonderful. So speaking of that, when we talk to you next, everyone, what do you think the Angels will be? Because of course they're that Wednesday game, the last game of that road trip before they come home, will be a morning game for us here.
Yeah.
Early over there in Miami, but it's 6 games. First 6 games. How do you think the Angels turn out? Do you think, for me, I guess out of the 6, I think they go maybe, I'm going to say 2-4. I think they get swept in Baltimore, but they take 2 or 3 in Miami. What do you think?
I'm thinking they break 500. I'm more optimistic because they're playing Miami, because I think they're going to be motivated to play against a team like the Orioles. I think they're going to go maybe 3-3.
That would be nice. I wouldn't mind that at all. We'll see. They always have had struggles, like you mentioned, with Baltimore. They always get swept there, it seems like. I think they did get one last year. They did get one.
They got one
out of 3. Yeah. But the year before, remember, it was a 4-game series, and they got swept in Baltimore, and that's when you start to see that's when you saw those young guys really come up and just be absolutely good. Batista's back. They have Cano in their bullpen. Oh, they're going to be so amazing, and that's what's going to make it very, very difficult for this Angel team to go there, and we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm just happy baseball's back and the Angels are back for now.
Yes.
I think this year, though, without Ohtani, you kind of feel like, okay, there's no real expectation, right? It's just these young guys are playing, and then you hope the veterans can stay healthy to really see what this team can really, really do. That's all you can hope for with all these players on this roster that's just really almost out of whack. I mean, when you think about it, it's a group of some veterans, I should say, and then a lot of young players coming up. So we'll see what happens with all of that. I was going to ask you, too, I'm wondering how many games you'll go to this year out of the schedule. How many games do you normally go to for the home season?
Well, I get out to about 15 to 20 games probably a year. And when I had season tickets, I went out to more, obviously, 25, I think, when I shared season tickets. And I would say 15 maybe this year, 15 to 20. I'm hoping to get out to a lot of games.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to get out of there on the 5th,
That's it. I know Rob is going, and I'm trying to go.
You got to go.
I had someone say, if they go at least 4-2 on the road trip to begin the season, I'll go opening day. I'll go that Sunday, and then try to go when they play the Rays and the the not the Red Sox, the Orioles also come to Anaheim. It's a 3-team homestand, the first homestand. It's the Red Sox, Rays, and the Orioles. And I told someone, yeah, if they go 4-2 on this road trip, first road trip, okay, I'll go to those 3 games. I'll try to make it. We'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting 2024 season. Be sure to stay here on Heedy for all the news and all the opinions of all of us here. There's like 7 of us here that are bound to say something that will make you think. I hope, at least on my part. Hopefully, I'm not spitting out gibberish. But Milu, you have any final thoughts for the show here and for the season?
I'm just excited. Every week I say I'm excited about baseball, but it's finally here. The days finally arrived. We're going to have some real Angels baseball here in 2024. And I'm ready to get the season started. I'm excited.
I kind of miss Arizona. I kind of miss Arizona's. No, just kidding.
Yeah, we're probably going to miss Arizona ball once we get into the season, and then we start. No, we're not going to put that negative energy into the air. I did have a talk with the baseball gods today, and I did say, hey, no major injuries this year, and please let us win some games at least. Please let us make at least the second wild card. I'm just looking forward to a good season. I just want. There's no expectations this year. No Shohei. These guys are hungry. Let's just go. Let's do it. I'm ready.
That's a whole nother story, the Shohei things and how much it relates to the Angels and games in the past. Like Heedy did, the 3 guys talked about with Todd, I think it was Dominic and Rob on Monday talking about that.
On Monday, yeah.
Yeah, that was just it's another story. Yeah, it was definitely. Another story for another day. I'm sure we'll all be on top of it here.
Yeah.
Be sure again to go to Noble Ale Works before the game and even on the road. Go there for the specials and the food trucks outside.
Great beers too.
White beers?
I said great beers.
Beers. Okay, yeah.
Great pints. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what they have new. I always like that cinnamon roast crunch they had from last year. That was great.
That was good.
They had a few more. I think it was a horchata one that was really good. And of course, go to 714 tickets.
714 tickets. 714 tickets. Call today. Go tonight.
That's what you see behind home plate at Angel Stadium now on a rotation, I believe, from what I saw last week or this week against the Dodgers. I'll tell you what, it was good seeing the Angels take 2 out of 3 in the exhibition freeway.
Hell yeah.
Always good to see that with all the blue in the crowd. That felt good. Hopefully they could just beat the Dodgers this year. That used to be a thing, being the Dodgers, but now that hasn't been happening lately. No. That would make the season. That would really make the season up in that September series in September. That would be awesome.
Yeah, especially since, Ohtani's up the freeway now. So that would be really big for us Angels fans.
One thing I found odd yesterday, if you saw the game and when Ohtani came up to bat, they had like a minute video, like a tribute video of his MVP season and career last year, or what he did in the past, I should say, and just held up the game. They could have did that before the game.
Yeah.
But it was right after Mookie Betts, made out. And then Ohtani came up and he's like wondering what's going on. He's looking to check the pitch clock and all that crap. And then the video plays for like a minute. And I just thought, that's just bad by the Angels, staff there, who's ever running things. I mean, I know it's exhibition, but you can't do that in regular season. The umpire is not going to like that.
Right.
Maybe we'll get it right in September when he comes back. but we'll see. All right, James,
All right.
we'll get out of here. Thank you for coming on, of course, being one half of this. And we'll catch you next time on the episode of James Squared. See you, folks.
Let's go Halos, get some wins. 2024 is here.